Hello, my name is Margaret Berg. This video is for any parent or guardian that is seeking out any additional information about the IEP or the individual education plan for their child that may be eligible for any special education needs. Before developing an individual education plan, either the parent, guardian, or educational professional needs to place a referral to request an evaluation. This means either the parents can put forth a request or the educational institution can say, hey, we've seen so-and-so, we would like to request an evaluation for your student. At this time, the parent or the educational institution, they both have the right to deny or accept this request. Once this request has gone through, both parties are able to then start the evaluation process. Evaluations are conducted by school psychologists and diagnosticians. They do this through a series of tests and assessments to determine if the student is eligible for special education services. These are not just run-of-the-mill ordinary tests. Your child will be provided with a school psychologist or someone who specializes in that field. If it's determined that the student does fall under one or more of the disability categories that are listed in the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, then everyone can start to move forward in developing their IEP or their individual education plan. Finding out that your child has a disability, it can be overwhelming. It can be a bit of a shock. I'm sure some parents can be confused, obviously depending on how blatant, severe, or moderate the disability presents itself. Fortunately, the right educational team is supposed to be there to make this process a lot easier, and it should be viewed as in a positive light, that your child is going to be getting the right supports from the right team of specialists who care about your student's education. I cannot stress that anymore. This is here to help your student throughout their whole education career. It is not there to set barriers, but it's there to help take them down so that they can proceed just like any other student is throughout their school. When developing the IEP, several topics are going to be addressed. Firstly, we're going to discuss their present levels. Where are they? How are they currently doing? What are they performing at? What's going on within their general education classroom right now? And then how is the disability that they've just been determined to have, how is it impacting their ability to learn? What is it that we need to look at? With this, goals will be set. Parents and members of the IET team can discuss what it is they think is appropriate for that student, and then what it is they think they need to meet by the end of the year. Academically, socially, emotionally, behaviorally, all these things are going to be discussed. On top of that, there will also be additional or related services. This means that your student, free of charge, this is not responsible financially of the parents whatsoever, but your parent, your student, if they are eligible for any sort of assistive devices, any types of technology or iPads that they need to help them communicate, maybe they need to see a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, or a counselor, school psychologist. Here, we're also going to determine how often do they need to see these different individuals, how many times a week, what's appropriate for them. Also is, that's going to be very important, is classroom accommodations and modifications. It'll be addressed, how is a student going to learn? What type of instruction are they going to be provided? Do they require a one-to-one? Will they be given more times on tests? How will these lessons be modified? What is it that we are going to be doing to provide for your child? Lastly, the educational team is going to have to monitor the student's progress, right? We're going to need to know if they've increased from their present levels and beyond. That's our goal. So this is going to be done through a series of assessments. What we need to find measurable and valid data. We cannot use observation and say, oh, we saw that your student seems to be struggling in math. We're not going to sit here and do that. We need to prove that, whether it's through tests, formative, summative assessments, standardized testing. We're going to have a series of documents to prove this is what we've seen. This is how your student is progressing in these areas. Once the IEP commences, and we've kind of figured out our baseline here, we've put all the pieces together, we're going to need to continue on our communication between the parents and the educational team. This is essential to supporting the student's education. Keeping parents updated on school routines, changes in behaviors, academic achievements is all going to help parents understand what their child needs and vice versa. This is also important for us as educators too. Once we've recognized any of these changes that might be occurring, whether they're negative or positive, we can work collaboratively together, find the source, make adaptations better suited for the student. Sometimes as educators, we're unaware of what's going on with the family at home. And if parents are willing and open, and we've developed that bond, we've developed that trust, we could discover, that there are things going on at home that maybe are negatively affecting the student at school. And this way we can kind of step back and relook at the things that we're putting in place for them. The best way to do this is keeping an open line of communication through text messages, emails, phone calls, virtual, in-person meetings. There's so many easily accessible ways to communicate. There really shouldn't be any disconnect in that. And with that, as educators, we also understand that everyone has cell phones, that everyone has computers they can access all the time. Parents work nights. Sometimes parents aren't home enough, and we understand that. So even just as simple as being able to have a notebook in the child's backpack that we can each exchange letters back and forth to. Just something that is easily accessible for both of us to stay in communication. And lastly, as an educator, it's our responsibility to meet the needs of the whole student. That means academically, emotionally, and socially. We are there. Our goal is to ensure that the students receive a fair and equal education. As special educators, we should feel lucky to be able to work with such unique individuals. This means we accept all of our students, regardless of their ability, race, gender, sexual orientation, religious, and cultural background. It's our duty to provide a safe environment where they can feel a sense of belonging. As we all know, if we feel like we belong in a group, we just have more of a willingness to learn. This will make it a lot easier for educators to encourage their students to learn. It's also a good way to build trust. We want them to know that we're there for them every step of the way. With this, being an educator, it's a lifestyle for us. We go home thinking about the students. We go home trying to figure out different ways that different resources, find different tools that we can help them succeed. It could be going down the aisle at a store and saying, oh, so-and-so can learn better from this device. I'm going to get this. Our job does not stop. We are constantly thinking about them. And in doing so, we're always thinking about the parents. We understand that this is a lifelong journey, and we know that this shouldn't be a struggle for either you or the parent. We understand the stigmas that come with labeling a child, and we don't want this to be the case. We want to be there to advocate for both you and your child every step of the way. With that said, unfortunately, both really great teachers and sometimes the not so great ones can miss the mark when providing those accommodations, modifications, and special services for the child. This is why, again, we highly recommend and we encourage parent-guardian participation. It's crucial to developing the best plans for the student. We also like to encourage that the student can participate in the process as well. Being aware of their needs allows them to better understand their abilities and what they're striving for. Having self-awareness it's a good social skill, and it promotes positive coping skills. With that, students can offer the team their likes, their dislikes, as well as any insights on what they need in order to be successful. Maybe someone is struggling in a certain subject. Johnny's struggling in math. Johnny expresses that he hates math. Okay, Johnny, why do you not like math? Oh, I don't know what this symbol means or what this means. And that gives us a little more foundation to say, let's take a deeper look into this. Let's see what is it in this area that is not that's not meeting his needs. What do we need to do in order to encourage him to learn and to help him learn that subject? Lastly, for the parents, it is important for you to know it is your legal right as a parent and a guardian to bring outside advocates for extra assistance, seek any legal advice that you need, and also if you need to file litigation, if you believe that the institution is not upholding your students' rights to an equitable education. It's up to you. If you feel like we are not doing what you need, we are doing you and your child a disservice, you may find any resources or any other suitable means to make sure that your child is receiving what they deserve. Thank you for listening. I hope this provided some insights on starting the IEP process and can make things a little bit easier for those who are have been referred in evaluation. Thank you.